What's going on, guys? I hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. What's happening? Is it just smashing down below all-time highs again? Is it not closing? Does it look weak? Is everything about to fail? Is this the end of Bitcoin? Is this the end of crypto? No, guys, this is just going to be my opinion. I'm going to be breaking it down more on a technical basis. As time has gone on, as I've got a little bit more comfortable with the fundamentals, I am finding it very, very helpful just to go back to my roots, which is in technical analysis, and focus on my strong suits. So I hope that you enjoy this video. I'm going to be breaking it down. I'm going to be looking at the levels that I'm going to be paying extra close attention to. And I'm going to be breaking down exactly what I'm looking for at those levels, what I would consider being a break of those levels, and ultimately what all of these things are going to do for you is it's going to give you an idea and a framework to be like, okay, cool, this is when I am going to change my opinion, or I'm going to start considering to change my opinion about where Bitcoin is going, because ultimately Bitcoin is a massive influencer on the entire crypto space. And so by being able to look at crypto or that Bitcoin, it's not just going to help with technically looking at other coins and stuff like that, but it's also going to help with just understanding the Bitcoin market, which is valuable because there's so much liquidity in this market. And so as time is going on, it is becoming more and more predictable on a short-term basis, not so much a macro basis. But anyway, I'm going to stop blabbing on now. So I hope that you enjoy the video. None of this is financial advice, all just my personal opinion. So take it or leave it, do your own research. So all-time highs. We breached all-time highs up here. This is the weekly chart, and it looked like we were going to close above on the weekly, but we didn't. We came down and closed down here in a bearish candle. We then looked like we were going to close above, and then bang, we come back down again. We're getting what's it called? News articles called with things like, did conflicting reports about Evergrande defaulting cause Bitcoin to tank? You know, people were looking at this and they're looking at this move yesterday and they were classing it as tanking. Okay, this is a classic example of news-based wording. You know, I really wouldn't consider this a major tank, if I'm being completely honest. Why? Because none of the structural levels have actually been violated. Now, that's not to say that Bitcoin can't go down. Absolutely, it can. However, for me, when looking at structure, I'm looking at structural levels in order to gauge what is going on. And if we've got market structure, so if you're not familiar with price action, which is the main way that I read the charts, I just find it the cleanest way, is we've got higher highs created, higher lows, create higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. The point of reference is always going to be the last higher low for me. Why? Because when that level gets violated and we see this level go down and we break, and then we come back and we test it and then we continue going, what we've started to do is we've gone from having a higher low to a lower low. And just using simple logic, that would suggest that we have gone from buyers to a more seller predominant market. Now, of course, you can get really, really advanced with this stuff, but I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm just going to keep it nice and simple in the cookie cutter, clear approach. And so this area right here, this is going to be a lot more risky than, let's say, if you waited for a second lower low to be made, as indicated by price breaking below that level and then coming back here. Why is that going to be less risky? Because it's showing a willingness to break two lows instead of just one. And at this point, it's still possible that prices could just come back up and it could be more of a fake out or a liquidity grab or something like that before continuing higher. These things are possible. And so this for me would be a clearer example. Now, looking at where this is on the chart, of course, you could technically have this as the last higher low. And this is where it's going to come down to how you define a low or high or whatever. But don't get lost in the technical jargon here. The long and short of it is, for me, this is an aggressive way of reading a low, because if we look at this on a line chart, if it's not clear to you, we see higher high, higher low, then created this higher high. And so for me, this is my main reference point. I will also be aware of this level because I believe this is also the weekly high low. And so bringing it back to this example up here, what would be a nice confirmation for me of bearish movement would be, you know, breaking below here, and then maybe we'd start seeing some more bearish movements. I'm not a big fan of double top patterns. I think that they get manipulated more often than not. But if that is something that you would look at, then that is something that you would be aware of here. However, on their own, they're useless. You need to have that confirmation of structure breaking in your direction to confirm that. Okay. And so what am I looking at in terms of Bitcoin right now? Well, like I said, we're still bullish. Where have we been reacting off? We've been reacting off a very, very simple retest level. So we had that massive push yesterday, the quote unquote tank, and then we have pushed down into this level. If we begin breaking things down again, Okay, we can see that just the way that price has been moving, we had this very nice bullish break upwards here above these all-time highs. Then we've displayed this kind of double top and we've begun to break structure to the downside. Does that mean that we are going down? No, because I am basing most of my direction on the higher timeframes. When I'm on these timeframes, I'm not paying that close attention to what's happening here because it's always going to be deceptive. Very often, the more timeframes you include, one time frame will tell you this, one time frame will tell you this, and it's about having a specific job for a specific time frame and filtering the amount of information that you are allowing into your brain per time frame. That is the way that I do it. It's the simplest way that I've found. And I've been doing this not necessarily in crypto, but technical analysis and trading for a large number of years now. Okay, so right here, if I do think we're going to go lower before we go higher, which is always possible, okay, then I think that we will take out this low. Why is that? Well, if you think about it in terms of this, depending where this goes, okay, because obviously it hasn't happened yet, but let's say that this move up here only gets to about here and then it starts coming back down. The easiest way to internalize this is the liquidity that was here was enough to push prices here. If we want to get past this level, we're going to need to get liquidity lower below that level in order to get higher. Now, of course, this doesn't always mean it's going to work like this, but very, very often this is going to be a very, very common retrace pattern because we have this overall move up, we have a move down, and then we go up for the first retrace, and then the second retrace goes deeper than the first one, and then we continue going. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be looking for in terms of Bitcoin. I'm going to be paying close attention to this level and the weekly level, which are these two levels right here. But overall, I'm still bullish. And so when I'm monitoring price, the main thing that I'm going to be looking for is confirmation on a lower time frame, looking for the same sort of thing again, waiting for structural breaks. We see some nice multiple higher lows up here. I'm waiting for some nice clear indications that price has a willingness to go higher. If it starts giving me indications on the lower time frame that prices are going to want to go lower, then I will expect and wait until we go and pierce below this level, and then again wait for the same thing. And so, for example, we break out this is the last high low on this time frame. We start breaking out, we start showing a willingness at this point to go lower. I then wait for it to take this low out, and then I wait for structure to shift in my direction. We see structure shifting right here below the old low. For me, that's confirmation, and that could still provide a decent opportunity for me, potentially going up to all-time highs again of about 10%. Now, of course, you've got to take this all with a pinch of salt because the market can change massively, and also the fundamentals can massively vary. But if we go back to what we were talking about in our video last week, when I was breaking down Bitcoin, let's just get rid of this quickly. So when I was breaking down Bitcoin, I believe it was on the 4-hour chart that I was doing this. But yeah, we were seeing the liquidity being taken over here. You can go back and watch this video, but I was looking at this particular high to break or close above, which we got here, which was around where I made the video. And so I said it was much more likely that prices were going to go higher. What happened? We have a very corrective, meaning a very kind of choppy corrective move. Then we start showing a willingness to go higher, and then we break up, and then we end up going back and breaching all-time highs. Now, if we understand what this means and we understand how all of these structures work, that was a potential, obviously assuming you got in at the very bottom, which is unlikely, but the whole move, there was about 15% to take advantage of. And that was only within how many days from the bottom here? So that was from the 6th of November to the 9th. So in 3 days. So for Bitcoin, you know, at this stage and how huge it is, that is not a bad result whatsoever. And it really just highlights the power of the power of crypto, even without any leverage, because literally having a 15% gain without any leverage, like coming from my background in trading, in particular in the foreign exchange markets, like that's crazy. Like, it's just ridiculous how common these are, and especially considering how big this asset class, this particular asset Bitcoin is. Already these kind of gains are just ridiculous. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like to see these videos and you want to see more breakdowns, maybe you want to see me going live and breaking down what I think these coins are going to do next on a technical basis, because that is where I'm definitely a lot more comfortable, then let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinion. But yeah, take it easy, guys. Love you all, and I'll see you on the next video.